Not too bad, not too bad.
Let me get these topics right in here right now. We're going to get today's, honestly, trust me, today we're in for a special because we're going to break it down. When I prepare for things, I'm actually excited. That's why I'm more happy for how we're going to. Motivation money. Yes. Mike, what's good? Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yes. I've exited the 20s and we're now into the 30s. So, new journey. I'm looking forward to the next decade, to the next 10 years. But like Max always says, you know, when it comes to birthdays, it's just a birthday. It's just a number. That's how they get us. Let me pin this comment.
We apologize for those people that had us scheduled for 10:30. Once again, if you're not aware, for those people, my Instagram, we're also on YouTube Live. For the YouTube family, welcome, subscribe, share, like. We need all the engagement.
Yeah, so if you've come right onto the YouTube, we're live on YouTube Live right now. So if you don't know, go click to the subscribe button and find us on YouTube right now. You can watch it straight from your phone. You can watch it straight from your TV, your Chromecast. It does not matter, but we are live on all platforms. And then after this, we'll be available on all streaming platforms. So make sure you guys tune in, share the word. Thank you so much, Charlie. So, but today our topics is going to be how to deal with procrastination, lessons on wealth, and how to make the best decision and manage your time. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, it's my brother's birthday. Let's get all the shout outs going. You know, happy birthday to my right hand. You know, he carried most of the weight on the program. Don't get it twisted. He does all the groundwork more times. You know, I just prep for the Mondays. But it's been a lovely getting to know my brother. We probably encountered about 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago. And since then, a lot of transactions, a lot of business. And finally, we were able to put something to good cause. So it was good to see the growth in my brother. And just last night, through all the celebrations, seeing all the loved ones showing you love. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, so nothing more I could say about my brother. If everybody's from Toronto, GTA, even around the world, I'm pretty sure you know MC Ebone, and he's the man of the city. That's the person you need to connect with.
To be honest, I'm just happy, and I said this on the mic yesterday, I said it, bro. As long as I got my credit fixed and I'm happy to be in my 30s, I know I'm in the right direction. And I can tell everybody, it doesn't matter what you're going through in life. If you're going through anything, you could change it. You know what I mean? You can always change your direction of life. If you have troubles, trials, tribulation, does not matter. It's all about finding the people who are doing what you want to be done. And that's why we came together. So, you know what? As my birthday, I'm just happy to be here. And the fact that it landed on a Monday, it just shows me how much Motivation Mondays really means to the world, because it could have landed on any other day.
So it's good. It's good that we're here this morning celebrating your birthday together. And, you know, we must that play a factor into the role of us being late. We really appreciate the patience with you guys, but you know, this is Big 30. We had to enjoy, and a few things got delayed. So we take full responsibility for that. We apologize for anybody's day that we disturbed.
No excuses. That's what I realized. No excuses, no matter what. I just posted the YouTube link in our IG Live as well too, so feel free to come in there, subscribe, make sure you like. As soon as you get in there, click that like button. To everybody who's in there, if you're live on YouTube Live, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and let's get right into it. So I did some research within the week about procrastination, and first thing I want to ask you is, why do you think procrastination is something that people deal with in life?
Well, you gotta like the easy things in life. Life is hard enough as it is. Putting an additional burden on ourselves, we won't be much motivated to do such. So it's kind of like a coping mechanism for working so hard. Like, you know, we feel comfortable in our skin and doing the bare minimum. You know, we never want to put in more. We try to put in less to expect full results, you know, and it's a fair deal. Don't we all try to cut a deal in life, you know? Although I heard this before, the world is not Donald Trump. Don't try to cut a deal.
Now, why do you think, the good thing is this, when it comes to procrastination, it's something that...
Procrastination. I'm just laughing because somebody called me, I'm a pro in procrastination. Hey, we are pros. I used to be a master at it.
Oh, happy birthday as well to Heather. She shares the same birthday as me too. So happy birthday to us right now. But when it comes to procrastination, I feel like it's something, do you feel like it's something that comes from habitual rituals in terms of like a lifestyle or a mindset? Like we can cope into that like feeling of, okay, this is how I do things? Because we're going to get into the types of procrastinations in a few. But do you feel like it's something that's built off of habitual rituals, or is it something that like you know, it's a lifestyle that comes to people who are just not even pro, but love procrastination?
I think it's a development. I think it's through phases. I mean, us when we were much younger, there's not too much procrastination because we're allowed to do whatever it is that we want. But as we get older, we bear responsibilities. The older you get, the more responsibilities you have on your plate. And like I just said, we try to cut a deal with life. We try to put in the least amount of effort for full amount of results. And so through that, I think it's through stages. And as we're able to get away with certain type of things, we build a habit where we feel like we're more and more capable of doing such. I mean, let's take in, for example, most of us, not all of us, I myself, I'll testify to that. In high school, some of us will probably wait the last 3 nights before we write our essay. And the essay was probably given,
oh my goodness.
so the essay was probably given a month or two. But we will dilute ourselves by completing the essay. And if we get a good mark on it, we're attributed to how good of a skills in it. We won't want to change the regimen. So we take this, everything is connected. So we take this kind of ideology, philosophy to every other aspect of our life, feeling that if I could do it here, I could do it in other domains of my life. So I think it's through development, it's through part of responsibility. And how much can we get away with doing the bare minimum?
You said a key thing that I love, responsibility. And I feel like in life, do we hold ourselves responsible for all our actions that we do? And like, what I realize as I'm getting older and seeing in life is like, I look through the whole transition of where I went from my 20s to my 30s. Now I can say that. But like, why is it so important for us to hold ourselves accountable for our actions and to be responsible for, if we say we're going to do this, we're going to do this? So
there's two factors. So we hold ourselves, we take full credit when things go well, right? That's external. We blame external. What's the word? We blame external circumstances when things go wrong, and we blame internal circumstances when things go right. Right? When we win, it's always about I. When something go wrong, it's this situation and that situation. So I think that also plays a role, and it's vice versa. When things go wrong for people, we point the finger at them and say it's their internal, it's their lack of ability why they didn't do what it is they need to do. Right? And we make excuses for most people when they do win. We blame the external for why they win, right? So it's kind of vice versa, how we look at ourselves and how we look at other people. So it's all about how we approach life in dealing in responsibility, the things that we take pride in doing.
So I wanna talk about the 5 types of procrastinations. V, happy birthday to you as well too. We have a lot of my Scorpios in here. Flo knows. Gio, happy birthday. A lot of people share November 1st. It's our day, so happy birthday to us. Thank you for coming and tuning. That's all I need you guys to do for Motivation Mondays. But let's get into it. So
hold on, ladies and gentlemen, if your birthday is not on November 1st, don't worry. You're still special. Ebon tries to make everybody feel that November 1st is the best day ever. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all special. Don't listen to Ebon.
I'll tell you why November 1st is very special. Look how many people have
We're all special.
Share the same
We're
birthday.
all special, ladies and gentlemen.
Facts. That I'll give.
He's gonna rain on the parade. You know, he's going too far with it. You know, there's another 364 days. He's getting too far.
So, well, let me just put this out there. There's people who are born in November and people who wish they're born in November. I said this already, but wait, you know how it goes, man. I just gotta throw it in there. So appreciate the love, and I'm seeing the laughing. Slim, you know exactly how it goes right now. The fact that I'm even here, you guys don't even know how last night went, but we're live and direct. So when it comes to procrastination, we have the perfectionist, we have the dreamer, we also have the avoider, we have the crisis maker, we have the busy procrastinator, and then we have the people who just procrastinate. So I'm gonna break it to have a conversation and then go. So the first one, when it comes to the perfectionist, one thing I love about what you talk about is life is not perfect. Nothing is perfect in this life. So I'm going to read this out right now for my people. And trust me, listen to what I'm saying, because one of these is you. Everybody can fall into this. So the perfectionist. Perfectionists are afraid to start the task at hand because they get stressed out about getting every detail. They can also get stuck in the process, even when they've started, since they're just too scared to move on. Be clear about the purpose of your task and assign a time limit to each to deal with procrastination. So how do we tell the people who like things to be perfect? How do we deal with them? Because being perfect can lead to procrastination, because you just want things to be perfect. You want everything to lay out the way you want it to be, and it doesn't work like that. I'm
pretty sure you guys heard it time and time again. I think our very first gem, perfection equals paralysis. And I must say this again. In other words, if you're just waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect time, you never get started. right? And that's one of the first gems I drop on my weekly gem, because it was just like waiting for the right moment. Was it something that I contemplate on doing? Is this right? But eventually you have to figure it out. If that's your reason for not acting, it's more harmful than it does good. The only way you're able to produce result is acting upon your ideas immediately. Don't wait. Don't try to come up with the perfect plan. It's never perfect, right? The plan that you make today is only fitting for today. Tomorrow will be a new day. There'll be a new obstacle for you to face. So when it comes to perfectionist procrastination, it makes perfect sense. But we all like to think we're all perfect and like to have everything in perfect order. But that's not how the world is designed. And better yet, people are more likely to connect to you if they find out that you're like them through mistakes, through failures, because most of us experience like failures and hardship more than we do in achieving goals or having success. So people like to feel connected. So waiting for the perfect time for things to act right is a bad idea.
And when I was watching your Gems of the Week yesterday, you talked about faith. Can you get caught up in believing in faith, thinking that things are going to plan out and work out the way you want to because you think you have this illusion of, okay, I make the right decisions? Or I found out the other day that, like, you know, some people actually...
No sound. Sorry. We lost sound on the thing.
On the phone?
On Instagram Live. That's the feedback that I'm getting.
Let us know, right? We can't hear you guys. All right. So do we have to restart? Or?
We have to restart IG Live. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize. We apologize. Sorry.
You know what? Everybody head to YouTube right now.
We apologize. Is it saved?
Yeah, it'll save though. It'll be in the archive.
So discard?
Yeah. Your phone on airplane mode? Do that. Yeah, I guess anytime we call, that's the opportunity.
We apologize for the YouTube Live. Our IG family lost contact with us.
Let me also go on my live. Let me just get everybody head to the YouTube Live.
One person radio there. A man tapped in and had to come to YouTube. That's better.
Let's go. We back, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Do us a favor though. If you can, head to our YouTube right now. We're live on YouTube Live right now. We just lost a little sound, but we're back in direct. Shout out to everybody coming in. You know how I like to do this though. Everybody do me a favor, send this out to 5 people live in direct. Whoever you share your memes with, whoever you share those posts with when you
share
see
the gems, share the knowledge.
And I just went live on my IG as well too. Everybody head to YouTube right now. I'm gonna post the link right now. Thank you. Head to YouTube right now. Follow Motivation Mondays. We're gonna get back to it, but we were talking about certain types of procrastination. So we just finished talking about the perfectionist, people who like things to be perfect. And can you get caught up? Like we talked about it earlier, but can you get caught up? Like I feel like sometimes when things go right for you, for people, you can be like, okay, I'm good in this. So if I wait till last minute, this is how I'm gonna get things done.
And that was the early explanation I was giving as far as believing ourselves, deluding ourselves to thinking that we're more than what we are. That when things go well, that we could keep this habit. Because if it's not broken, why fix it, right? So we dilute our mind, we program our mind into believing that yes, we could do such, and if we keep on this habit, it will still pan out.
Now let me get back into the other types of procrastination. So now we have the dreamer. So once again, if you're coming onto the YouTube Live right now, make sure you click like right away. Stop whatever you're doing and click that like button. Everybody head to the YouTube Live because we're transitioning into the new phase of Motivation Mondays. You guys have been sticking with us throughout the whole journey, week 81. But make sure you guys head to the YouTube. I'm gonna put the YouTube link into our IG Live as well, so you can join us live in direct. But the dreamer. Now we have the dreamer. They enjoy making the ideal plan more than taking action. They are creative, but it's hard for them to finish a task. How do we deal with people who dream? Like, I feel like everybody, a lot of our thoughts and stuff that we want to do in life, it's in our mind, it's in our head. But how do we get the things out of our head and put it into plan, into action?
In the land of the dreams feel so good. You create everything how it looks. There's no flaws in your dreams. So of course you want to live there. That's the happy land. But creating to action is actually taking it out, what's on your mind, and putting it on paper. Don't trust your mind. Don't use your mind as a filing cabinet, right? You must be able to illustrate your plan. A lot of things that started off with the dream eventually became a blueprint, which became the physical nature that we see in itself today. So I know when his dream is sound so perfect, you have no flaws, there's no naysayers, there's no doubters, there's no haters, there's nothing like that. So you want to live there. It's a happy land. It's a sense of high, I'll say, but we cannot live there for too long. You cannot be a dreamer. You have to be a doer.
Now, why is it important? Because when it comes to dreaming, when I looked up to this, it's talking about deconstruction task into smaller bit-sized chunks, because that's what they say for dreamers. People who dream, there's a lot in their mind that like fills up the whole circle, but in that circle, there's little bits that you need to like conquer to be able to get that dream to come to fruition, to like affirmation. For instance, when you think about Amazon, like these were thoughts, these were ideas, and now we see it like years later. They always talk about, when this person was 25, they were broke. They used to work at Wednesday, they used to work at McDonald's. You see the picture of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, where he's there in his office and it's just him in a little small desk, but now we've seen years later where he's been able to take it. So why is it so important to deconstruct some of our tasks in our head? Because we dream big, but in order for us to accomplish each and every task, it's going to take small work, like in terms of like one task at a time. So why is it important for us to deconstruct things so that we can get things done?
I think it's about breaking it down, right? When things are too much for us, we tend to break down. Like we feel like it's not possible, right? We're gonna take it step by step. Everything is about a process, right? You cannot expect the end results from the very first day you start something. You have to go through the steps. You have to take the initiative and know that this is the step that you will take for you to get where it is that you need to get to.
Now, you see, when it comes to like, they talk about reading a book or audiobooks where, if a book is 100 pages, set your focus into reading one page at a time. But I feel like there's a mindset you got to get to understand to be like, okay, I'm going to read one page at a time. How do we like deconstruction people to understand like, okay, if everybody knows in life, reading is key. There's things they always say, if you want to hide something from a black person, it's in the books. That's what they talk about. So like, how do we understand, okay, if reading is something I need to do and I can't read it all at one time or in a day or 2 days, how do we understand the mindset to break it down to be like, okay, I'm going to get ready and do one page at a time. Maybe one day, Monday, Tuesday, I'm going to focus on just reading or even tasks that we have at hand.
Forget about the end goals, all right? Before you start a journey, don't worry about the finish. Don't worry about the finishing line. Worry how you get the most out of it. Enjoy the experience, right? Start looking at things as, what am I learning from the first step? It's not what you get in the end, is what you become in the process. That's much more important. So if we stop looking towards the finishing line and just worried about first step, focus on our feet, taking step by step, we're more likely to accomplish stuff. When you talk about deconstruct, is believing that knowing our self-awareness is always the first step to anything. Knowing ourselves, if you're not much of a reader, it would be very difficult for you to wake up one day and say you're going to read 300 pages of a book, right? So understand, I'm not much of a reader, but today I'm going to read one book. I'm going to read a page of a book, not one book. I'm going to read a page out of a book, right? As there's an improvement. And that's the thing. Your success is based upon yourself. It's not based on what anybody else says. Like if you look at my gem, this morning, when I talk about compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today.
Ooh.
Right? I'm gonna say that again. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today. Right? So self-improvement is not a metric that's defined by what other people are doing. Right? It's simply you getting better each day. And if it's 1%, if you're not much of a reader and now you decided to read one page, you're starting to form a habit. And tomorrow maybe you read a page and a paragraph, right? It doesn't have to be 2 pages, at your own pace. Right? You came in this world by yourself. Chances, even if you have a twin, you still came by yourself. Chances are you're gonna die alone. You're at your own pace, you're at your own race, So such be it. Start walking in your own path. Stop comparing yourself to others and start believing in your own process, your own journey. And understand some people may take big steps, but eventually it'll become an obstacle where because they didn't gather the process or the attitude or the mindset at the early stage, they might not develop. We often find people who start late but finishes first, right? So that's why we gotta start believing in ourselves. That's what I'm saying. Don't compare yourself to who somebody else is today. Compare to yourself to who you were yesterday. Each day get better and better. That's what self-improvement is all about.
And we have a book recommendation right now. Shout out to Keith that says The Power of Habit is really a good book, y'all. And you've been talking about this book, so make sure you can pass that book on to me too as well too. But I want to get into we're right now we're talking about different types of procrastination. So first we talked about the perfectionist, we talked about the dreamer, and now we're gonna talk about the avoider. People who avoid doing things that they know they need to do. So I'm gonna talk about the avoider. They worry and they're worried and scared to take on tasks that they think they can manage. They would rather put off work than be judged by others when they end up making mistakes. They're focused on the worst mistake and not acting on what they need to do at first hand. So the first tack to tackle this type of procrastination, how do we deal with people who avoid, or to the people who avoid certain things? How do we motivate them to be like, it's in your mind, you know what you need to do, it's there. How do we tackle on what we know we need to do?
Don't make excuses for ourselves. We like to make excuses and avoid what it is that we need to do. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about when we have a task to do, we find something else that we feel that is just as difficult and feel better about ourselves. That I accomplished this, no need to complete what it is that I'm doing. You see, you're not vulnerable, you're not weak, right? Just because you have a weakness doesn't make you vulnerable, right? The concept that you are aware, right? You're aware. To show your flaws doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you vulnerable, right? It just hates you to start focusing on where it is that you need to focus on, right? So once again, if you have weakness, it doesn't mean you have vulnerability. So avoiding situations that you think expose who you are or your lack of doesn't make you a weaker person, right? It just turns on your alertness that the things that you need to do is what you need to do. Stop running away from what it is that you need to. That's where growth is at. That's where growth is at. And the minute we start stepping into the cage that we're scared to fight, we start to free ourselves from what it is that we don't want to be and to become who it is we really want to be.
And
right?
I love that there's new people coming on. First of all, if you're joining us right on YouTube, we're live on IG Live right now for our people who are there, but we're also live on YouTube Live. So we encourage everybody to head to our YouTube. And as soon as you get in, make sure you click that like button. That's the most important thing right now, as we are, we're not avoiding things. We're on a path of growth right now. And, we're doing this. 81 weeks of doing this. It's been trials and tribulations, but at the end of the day, we're on our positive route. And I see people in the comments talking about, when they feel like they have stuff to do, they just take naps. They think that's the easier route.
I mean, self-care is okay. Sometimes it's needed for the reboot, for the energy. But I truly believe, don't avoid the things that you need to do. Wake up and face it. That's where growth is at, right? Doing what you're already good at just make you weak overall, because life gets harder as it is. You guys know this, right? Think about it. How you often say life used to be so easy back then. Well, we're not going back there, right? Start taking the power in your hand and understand it's gonna get harder. And if you don't equip yourself and develop each day, because the world is developing, people are always advancing how we live in this society, right? Not just the physical nature, even the mental nature. It gets much tougher and tougher. All kind of obstacles that we have to deal with more than ever. People, like, we never dealt with a pandemic, right? There's a few people in their lifetime, this is potentially their second pandemic. But for us, this is something new, right? So that whole concept of what I usually say, tapping in, believe in yourself, understand there's a bigger purpose for you. There's faith, believe in something that's bigger than you, right? So that's kind of like the same thing where we got to start turning and facing the thing that we're constantly avoiding. That is where growth is at. The things that you run from every day is the thing that you need to do. That's where growth is at. If you want to take a leap of faith and advance your lifestyle, advance your income, advance your relationship, whatever it is that you want to do, and it may not be related, right? It may not be related. I'm gonna use this for example. You may feel like you want more money, right, from your job, right? Something tangible. You may feel like you need a bigger income, right? Doesn't necessarily mean go learn a new skill. Maybe the biggest battle that you're dealing with is maybe you want to go work out, but because you're avoiding that every day, you're avoiding your higher self, your full capability, right? Doesn't necessarily mean if you go to the gym, you're going to make more money, but it's tapping into the idea that you trapping yourself in your own mind, that you're capable to put your mind to something and actually do it. That will also unlock other avenues, other realms, other paradigms in your life for you to start attracting the things that you're calling for. So the things that you're avoiding, that you feel like you'll be less of a person, will make you weak, you're not trying to expose you, that's what you need to be, right? Life is not about discovering yourself, it's about creating yourself.
Ooh, repeat that again, please.
Life is not about discovering yourself, it's about creating yourself.
And
right?
Every new day that you wake up is a blessing to be able to create. And one word that you use that I love in that sentence that you put is advancing. We can always advance.
Yep.
So I think that's very key. Like, let's look at ourselves and understand, like, tell yourself right now, I can advance. I can be better than I am today as long as I do the things I know I need to do.
Yeah,
Now,
believe in yourself. And like I just said, life is not about discovering yourself, it's about creating yourself. So when we talk about avoiding, assuming that we're going to be at the place that it is that we're destined to be, it's never going to happen. Right? You want to be a millionaire. It's not about discovering your millionaire self. It's about creating your millionaire self, right? You want to be the best in your field. It's not about one day I'm going to wake up and become the best in my field. You have to create that. So this whole idea, oh, my destiny, this, that. No, you're not just going to walk in your destiny and become who it is that you want to be. You have to create your destiny. You have to be that person. So once again, life is not about discovering yourself. It's about creating yourself. So whatever it is that you don't get out of life, it's not because life didn't give it to you. It's because you didn't create it for yourself. Remember earlier I said, life is not Donald Trump. Don't try to cut a deal. It's not on your side. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. There's almost 8 billion people in this world. And I don't think you're the favorites. You're not the chosen one. It's about creating yourself.
Now, right now we're talking about how to deal with procrastinations. First we talked about, and I love that there's new followers coming in right now. You see, the funny thing is when people come in here and you're hearing the truth, you got to follow and tap in. So appreciate you guys for doing that.
And it's a calling. And this is, you know what they say, this is the sign? Well, this is literally the sign. There's a reason why it's sitting wall with you, right? That burning desire, we need that. We need that boost. Do something with it. Whatever it is that you feel, if something resonates with you, and it did that for me. It was something that I heard and it changed my life, and this possibly could be it. Right? Don't avoid it. You heard what I just said. Now you're potentially thinking about what it is that you need to do. Don't be the avoider. That's what we're just talking about. Don't be the avoider. So do what it is you need to do.
She said, I'm the chosen one. Yes, everybody.
We all are. We should feel that way, by the way.
I was just about to say that. So first, we're talking about different types of procrastination right now. We talked about the perfectionist, the dreamer, the avoider. Now we're going to talk about the crisis maker. People who dwell in like when it's just at the edge. So the crisis maker deliberately pushes back work until the last minute. And it happens. We talked about this from high school, when you have an assignment, a test, exam, and you're waiting last minute to write your essay or to study. These people find deadlines, the crisis, exciting. And as I was doing my studies within the week, I was like, damn, because I could resonate to this right now. So it's like they find the deadlines, the crisis exciting and believe they can work best when working under pressure. And the reason why we need to talk about this is because that's not the way things need to be done.
Not true at all. Not true. Under pressure, you're not more creative, right? You actually decompress your full capability, right?
Hold on. Nah, you got to repeat that again.
Once again, like I just said, under pressure is not true. That's not true at all. Right? You decompress your full capability. It sounds good. You may work faster, but that's when we talk about quality over quantity, right? Ooh. Right? You want quality over quantity. It's not so much as how much you do, but when you get in and out of it, it's not true at all. Under stress, cognitive load, if you're overthinking, you're not able to express yourself. You're not able to see things for how it is. You feel like you're going through it, but you're just really going through the motions. Don't wait till the very end to try to get the most out of it. Little steps a day. Little steps a day, right? Don't wait till the very end. Don't wait till the dead end, the deadline to start acting, right? With the stress getting involved, where it's a matter of fight or flight, I work best under it's not true. No, and in all kinds of measurable text, anything that's been done under the high stress load, cognitive load, you produce the least, right? So not true at all. Let's try to avoid procrastination all the time, but breaking down different procrastination. So the crisis maker creating this scenario where they feel like this would be the best situation for them. And then you know what? We talk about habits. The worst thing that could happen in those situations, if you do not come through, you have now created a habit of somebody who doesn't accomplish something. And then, like I just said, success is not overnight. So is failure is not overnight. It's decision, right? You don't fail. If we talk about writing a paper, you don't fail because you didn't write that paper. It's the failure to do so each day. It's not that one piece of paper. It's the failure not to act each night, each day that eventually led to the disaster of you failing.
Now, they said pressure makes diamonds, and the females are loving it, right? But we get caught up in somebody saying something.
I'm pretty sure along the lines we get the excuser because that's what some of these things sounds like.
Now, there's a technique that I want us to talk about, and we're going to break it down. It's called the pomodoro technique. So I'm going to break it down. Everybody, I'll probably even type in the comments right now. It's the pomodoro technique. So in this, it talks about, taking things step at a time. So for instance, the pomodoro method, it talks about step 1, Pick a task and remember you can only focus on one thing. Sometimes we try to focus on so many things. We have all these ideas and plans that we have in our heads and we want to get everything done all at one time. But we need to do things, task after task, one thing at a time. How important it is to set things by time. Because I feel like time is something that we can't get back. So when we actually allude to like, okay, I'm going to put 20 minutes or 30 minutes to that, that's how we can actually get things done. And even if the 30 minutes pass, we know, okay, we at least set a time. And if there's 10 or 15 more minutes, we're going to allude that time to it. Do you feel like setting time and picking tasks, what we need to do one by one is very, very important into, achieving our dreams and goals?
Have a step, like, we talk about shooting yourself like a Fortune 500 company, and they work on schedule, they work on regimen, they work on time. If you just leave it to the wind, right? Those who fail to plan are planning to fail. I'm saying again, those who fail to plan are planning to fail. You got to develop a schedule. You got to have a routine. We talked about routine last week, I believe, and follow that routine. And you know where it is that you fall off or where it is you need to adjust. Now, we see construction going on all the time. I just like to use examples. Sometimes it's random, but just so you guys better fit with the example. So we see construction going on all the time. And if you don't have a schedule or time frame to see where it is they are, where it is that you're going, we just leave it to the wind and no deadline. Nothing will ever get created and things will never get accomplished. So it's good to have time. It's good to understand and give yourself a fair amount of time. Be reasonable with yourself. Know yourself, right? Know yourself. You know it's very difficult for you to get something started. If you could do it, you've probably already done it. So don't come with unreasonable time. What's unreasonable time? As much time as you need for yourself, right? It's not somebody else's time. It's not what somebody else deems fair. You don't need nobody else in your ear saying you still haven't got that completed. Maybe you just work a bit slower than everybody else, which is fine. Or maybe you just work faster. But don't put yourself on that burden, like I just talked about, with the cognitive load and producing least, right? You want to be free. You want to be most creative. Tap in. Do a little bit today. Arrange that time frame where you commit yourself to what it is that you want to do to avoid end up in procrastination.
And I love how we're building like a family here. And once again, I got to let everybody know, if you're joining us on the YouTube live right now, make sure you click that like button. To our people who are on IG live, click the link in our bio. We are live on YouTube right now as we are chaining things up. Now, they always talk about, with the Pomodoro method, they talk about, picking a task, then setting a timer. And then when you're done with what you got to do, just check mark it off. And these are some of the things that I feel like we learned in school. And I always talk about, it's funny that when I trace back to what we learned in school, and because I used to think that, what did school teach me? But they taught us a lot about a lot of things that, that we can use to deal with our daily lives. Yeah. But once again, the Pomodoro method, go think about it, go look about it, go do your own research. When we talk about certain things, it's me doing little research, but I want you to go figure it out yourself too and go look at it as well so you understand it, because I don't know everything. I'm just researching and doing what I got to do to help us. But I love that everybody's coming here and talking about things that they need to work on right now. It's all about small adjustments.
Yep. It's all about small adjustments to eventually turn into a great effect, right? With a little push, the domino effect. You'd be shocked what you decide to do today, how it will turn out tomorrow.
Now, we have the busy procrastinator. So the busy procrastinators have trouble choosing what to do with their time when they have a lot of work to do. They don't know how to choose the task that's best for them, and they postpone making any decisions. How do we help people prioritize on making the best decisions on the task that they know they have to do when it comes to people who are the busy procrastinators? So that means you just have 1,000,001 things on your mind.
Well, yeah, figure eights. They're going in circles, but they're not getting nothing done. You're going and going. I've been busy all day. Busy doing what? You gotta start, once again, going back to what you said earlier, scheduling yourself, timing, When you're busy, what did you get out of the day? You could be busy all day, but not be productive. Don't confuse movement with achievement. I'm gonna say that again. So the busy procrastinator going around making all kinds of excuses. And this also falls in the concept of excuses. Procrastination eventually is an excuse for yourself, right? Under any circumstance, you could make the adjustment. Even if it's tougher for you, you need more than 2 days, well, start 3 days. Well, start 4 days, right? So back to what I'm saying. These are all fall in line as far as procrastination excuse. And we all have it. Like I just said, I ain't perfect. I'm a master procrastinator. I still am. There's a few things that I don't feel like doing. I may elude myself with some of these things, all right? So the person who confused themselves with movement with achievement, right? They do these little tasks that have no attribution to where it is they want to be, right? Each day I ask you, when you wake up, what am I going to do today that's going to help me to become who it is I want to be tomorrow? And before you go to bed, answer that question and ask yourself again, what did I do today to help me to become a better person or who I want to be tomorrow, right? You could run all day. You could say you're on roll, you're trying to quote unquote moves, I'm making moves, they say, but moves doing what? Don't confuse movement with achievement, right? Don't confuse movement with achievement. Just because you're going where? You're going in circles, right? Ladies and gentlemen, don't confuse movement with achievement.
And then the last thing when it comes to procrastination, and it's the P word right now, it's about prioritizing. So how do we help people prioritize? Like, what advice would we give? Because after I named all those things that are the 5 types of procrastination, it all comes to prioritizing things that you need to do. How do we prioritize the things that are necessary for us to do to gain growth in the lifestyle that we want to achieve?
Long-term goals and short-term goals. Have a to-do list, majors and minors. What's minor? Minor time is maybe spending time with your friend and talking. What's major time? Contributing to your business, right? Those all should be illustrated. Maybe major time might be with a friend that you need to stay in contact with because you feel that you need that part of your self-care. But should all have majors and minors, all right? Don't spend major time on minor things and don't spend minor time on major things. We often flip that around, right? So have majors and minors. Once again, what did I say earlier? Life is not about discovering yourself, it's about creating yourself. In the process of creating yourself, who do you want to become? Dissect it, reverse engineer it in the end goal. What are the steps I need to get to where it is I want to get to? Now, through that process, list your majors and minors. These are the steps. What is major? Right? Major is maybe connecting with my mentor, right? Working an extra couple of hours so I could buy inventory for my business. What's minor time? Going out for dinner. And then don't commit major time to minor events, right? Don't spend 6 hours with your friends going out to eat and then commit 1 hour on your business. Which one do you want more? I guarantee that unless you creating yourself is to be the friend who's always available for 6 hour dinner, then that'll be major on your list. But once again, committing 6 hours to entertainment while your major is to create a business, you have then failed part of the process. So don't commit major time to minor events and don't commit minor time to major events.
And we have a lot of people join us for the first time right now. Welcome to Motivation Mondays. This is something that we've been doing continuously for 81 weeks. Me and my brother Max, the speaker, MC Ebo, we're actually live on YouTube. So you can click the link in our bio and watch it live in the comfort of your home, your Chromecast. It does not matter. Just make sure when you come onto the YouTube, you click that like button. Thank you. The birthday love is coming nonstop. I appreciate it. And, all I told everybody today on Snap IG, if you really support, just all I need everyone to do is to tune into Motivation Monday. Right now we talked about the different types of procrastination. I'm also gonna go over them as well too, just so for the people who are joining. So we talked about the perfectionist, we talked about the dreamer, the avoider, the crisis maker, the busy procrastinator, and then after all of that, we talked about how to prioritize things right now.
Majors and minors, right? Procrastination, these are all excuses. Perfectionist cause paralysis. The avoider, face what it is that you're running from. That's becoming your bigger self. We talked about the crisis, right? Under cognitive load, stress cognitive load, you're not creative. You get the least amount done in any aspect of your life. I don't care how great your marks is, but I guarantee you if you're committed, your early time, you get more out of it. So these are all sounds like excuses. And let me tell you something, excuses sound good to those making them. And I ain't perfect. I ain't judging nobody. I'm a master of some of these things. I'm a procrastinator in some of these things, but the delayed gratification, the gratified, we like to take a step back and enjoy ourselves. We like to go back. We like to take the full advantage of being an adult while having no responsibility as a child. We can't have best of both worlds, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot say I'm grown, I like to do what I please. When you decide to say that, understand that comes with responsibilities. But I know we want it all.
And you know what? It's so important for us to understand that each and every day that is a new day, we can become somebody greater. And it's all about creating that change and building a habitual routine for us to, do what we say we want. Because It's all in our mind. Everything that we want is in our mind. If you want to, it's in the mind. You tell yourself exactly what you want, but there's that work and that action you got to do to actually get things done right now. And I love it. 61 days until January 1st, until the new year. Let's really make it count. And it's not about like, you know, Max, I love when he talks about it. It's not about that new year, that new me. We got to cut that. I feel like we got caught up in that habit of certain things.
It sounds good. Some of these things that we say to ourselves, they avoid a new year, new me. It's not the changing of time that's going to change you. It's you that's going to change over time, right? It's not when it hits 12 a.m. you become a new person, right? But, you know, it's part of growth. You're growing, but not just growing as physically, but you growing mentally, spiritually, right? Start believing in something, right? It's not the changing of time that's going to change who you are.
And you know, it's so funny. Go like this for 1 second. Perfect. It's out. I want to get into our affirmation. Usually we do it at 11:11. You know, we start at 11:30, so it's 12:10 right now. But as soon as it hits 12:11, I'm gonna talk about our affirmation for the day. But once again, I want everyone to head to that YouTube page because soon you won't be seeing us right here. We're just doing this in the meantime because we understand that you guys have been 81 weeks, right? So people are used to us being on IG Live. So we're trying to transition and get everybody there as we're available on. Perfect. People are doing it right now. Head to the YouTube Live, and as soon as you get in there, make sure you click that like button. And I told you today you guys were going to enjoy our topic. So for some people, it's 12:12. So let's get right to it. Our affirmation of the day. And before I get into it, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. That's very important. So you get up to date with our videos. We will be having special guests coming on, but we're building everything, you know. Shout out to the 100 subscribers plus. I know we're growing there, but it's all about, you know, trusting the journey and trusting the process. So our affirmation for the day is this. For today, I am going to be truly attentive on my work. I will be observant and attentive throughout my entire day. I will focus and concentrate at will. I have clarity and energy in the things I want, and I am committed to being focused on my goal. I'm going to repeat it again. For today, I am truly attentive on my work. I will be observant and attentive throughout my entire day. I will focus and concentrate at will. I have clarity and energy, and I am committed to being focused on my goal. And honestly, what I love about this is the I. We always talk about you versus you. It starts with you. Until you own up to the things that you know you need to work on, because it's so easy. If you're good at something, it's so easy to be like, I'm going to stick to what I'm good at. But I feel like there's more growth when you figure out what you're not good at and then work on those things to see the growth.
You know, take pride in the things that you're good at. You know what I mean? Take pride, attack it full thorough, right? But the things that you're also not good at, work on yourself, right? You may not be perfect, right? But it's about understanding self. Once again, the key to life is becoming better than who you were yesterday. Right, and if there's an aspect of your life that you feel may lack, you may not be part of the top 1%, right? But it's developing yourself to know that there's this part of my life I didn't shine much of a light on it, but now I don't mind. I accept it, and this is who I am. But I'm going to do it, whatever it is that I need to do with my full capability. That's where growth is at, ladies and gentlemen. Doing less each day that we do less, we have difficulties overcoming. And that plays a role into depression and all these other stuff, right? I think the human mind, if we allow ourselves to do less and start to play games on us, it tells us to do less, but we really shouldn't.
And I see, you know, our comment gang is going strong in the YouTube comments. So, you know, yes, get engaged. I want us to get right into the next one, lessons on wealth. So I have like 7 lessons, and I feel like we need to understand and have these conversations because it's important. I saw an article the other day that came on CP24 about somebody who put like $80,000 on a down payment on his house in 2010, and he owns about 27 houses. And he's looking at it like, yo, it was hard to do it back then, and right now it's even harder. So it's like the time to do it is right now. Don't think about it. It was actually yesterday. Yesterday was the right time to do it. Yep. So I want to talk about these 7 lessons when it comes to wealth. And sometimes people get caught up on pleasing everybody else and not pleasing themselves. So there's this topic that says the price of trying to make everyone else happy is making yourself miserable. Because when you try to please everybody and do things for others and not do for yourself, you realize, because now you're like, okay, I would do this for this person. Why aren't they doing it for me? So how do we get out of that habit of doing what's best for us and not doing what's best for others?
Self-care, right? There's this rule that I say, if you're trying to help somebody and they do not take that help, right? If you put out your hand and they don't want to be helped, it's okay to leave them there, right? It's okay to leave them there, right? At no point should you compromise your happiness, your self-care for somebody else, right? You can't pour from empty cup, right? You will no longer be able to help anybody if somebody drain you, right? And often people over leverage themselves. Expectation leads to disappointment. I hate when people say to myself, I would have done it for them. Well, they're not you. That's why you did it for them, right? They're not you. That's why you did it for them, right? So learn to put yourself first. Well, self-interest is okay. Listen to what I just said. Self-interest is okay, not selfish, right? It's okay to put your self-interest first, right? Do what it is that works best for you so you could help others, right? That's a rule. Like, it's actually a rule also with lifeguard. With a lifeguard, if they're trying to save you and you're trying to drown them, they will let you go. It's actually a rule. They don't. Just because I'm willing to help you does not mean I must die with you, right? And if you're helping somebody and you don't want to get help, self-care first, self-interest is okay. It's okay to step away. You're not burdened, right? You're not less of a person. Society's not gonna cast you out, right? It's okay. Self-interest is okay.
And when you said that, what came to my thought is like, yo, that's why it's important for us to learn how to swim. And I'm not even talking about swimming like in the water, like understand how to swim in life.
Yep.
And not drown.
Understand life, understand human beings, understand behavior, right? I encourage everybody to know some basic points in psychology. Understand, because we're socialized human beings. You want to understand why people do what they do, right?
And this is why it's so important for us to spend time in learning, earning, relaxing, and exercising as well. Because if you look at the pros and the benefits of exercising, how it releases things, and as human beings, there's certain things for us, if there's growth and things that we need, even just going for a walk to get our mind right, to get the thoughts and whatever's in our head, to get it on a pedestal that we want. So these things are very important. And one thing that when it comes to lessons on wealth, trading money for time and not time for money.
Well, leverage, that's what we talk about, leverage, right? You guys heard me say this before. I don't care how much you're getting paid, it's not worth your time, right? Who are you? You're not up for sale, right? So it's about leverage, right? Learning, you can't buy time, but use money as leverage to be able to create more time for yourself, to start contributing to the things that it is that you need to do, right? Same thing about what you put in is what you get out, right? You got to make time work for you. It's to your advantage. Don't work for time. Make time work for you.
Now, when it comes to lessons on wealth, and it was so funny because I seen a post that came on social media where it's talking about debt, right? Because so many people are in debt, not even with companies, it's just within our friends. And, like knowing that if you owe somebody, pay that person, get these things out the way, because I feel like some people are so distraught when it comes to life because they've wanted to help. And we talked about it earlier, but like, these are things that we got to do, like pay your debt. Whether it's with companies, whether it's with your friends, with your people, learn to pay the people who have helped you, because when you came to that person to lending for help, or they were able to help you, you're running and avoiding those things. And sometimes those situations are what turn people cold. They turn people's heart black. And I want us to strain from that, because at the end of the day, if we want growth, if we want positivity, if we want good karma, if we want things to go our way, we gotta, do unto others as you would want to be done to you.
Good karma is real. I just want to throw that in there. We just usually say it's bad karma. But yes, have that same energy that you went in the time of need. Understand, have that same energy, be in that presence of mind. Keyword presence of mind. Remind of that time frame when you had your hand out asking for help. Pay that debt back, right? Financially, whatever it is, doesn't even always have to be finance, like, you know what I mean? And once again, for those people that give, they're probably chiming on this. Yes. But you know what I mean? If you're gonna give, understand that you may not be able to give it back. People are saying, like, you know what I mean? Those who joke over the weekend, I myself, but just have that same energy, right? That presence of mind, right? You made a commitment. You told somebody that you're gonna do something, and then you failed to do it, you're mad at that person, right? That presence of mind. Pay that debt back.
And as we're getting older, one thing that I realize is, once you decide that you're going to help somebody, we need to get the mature mindset to understand that once you are ready to give, you might not get it back.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I realize. If I know I'm going to give it to somebody, I'm expecting that back. So if you know you need it, don't give it. And do yourself, learn to say no. I think sometimes people get caught up, you want to say yes, yes, yes. Nah, learn to say no. Because once you say no, that's it. What I realized is the other day somebody asked me, once I said no, they're like, all right, cool, bet. You'll be shocked.
Fear of being judged. Humans, we're tapped in fear of being judged. But yes, where you put it may not be where it comes from. There's a bigger blessing, right? If you made an investment, right? If you made an investment towards something, you made a positive investment towards the universe. The universe is on its way to bless you, right? And understand that when you give, it may not come through back the same channel, right? If that was the case, it would just be a trade-off. We'll never grow, right? Because it'll just be a matter of exchange amongst each other, right? So where you give, it may not be where you come from. You want your blessings come from other places, bigger places.
And on top of that, with everything going on, to our people, once again, we are live on YouTube Live. If you're just joining us, or I'll put the link once again in our IG Live. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you stay up to date with everything that we're going as we're improving and we're growing in what we're doing with Motivation Mondays, week 81. Right now, we're talking about how to deal with procrastination, lessons on wealth. So we gave some insight to that. We have a couple new people. Welcome to Motivation Mondays. Make sure you click that follow button as well too, so you can see what we're doing. One thing I loved about yesterday when you're talking about your gems of the week, faith. Mm-hmm. It's about seeing the unknown.
Seeing the unknown, right?
And I feel like that unknown is what's in our head, because we think about the things we want. And the things we want, we haven't done it yet. So that's that unknown process. But how do we, I feel like in life, there's so much things that we gotta like keep up with in order to see positivity, because everybody wants the great life. Everybody wants this and wants that, the finer things in life. But it comes with work. It comes with people who either did it and we see it and we want it, but how do we do it for ourselves and understand that we can also do it ourselves?
Faith, belief system, right? Tap into your belief system. Leap of faith. Don't hope. Hope is a beggar. You don't hope to overcome an obstacle. You have faith to become an obstacle. That verbiage, right? Like I just said, once it comes out of your mouth, I was thinking in your mind, that verbiage changes everything, right? Faith is the ability to see things that don't yet exist and knowing that it's coming, right? It's not your turn yet, but it's coming, right? You got to believe in something bigger than you, because in life, something will come along the way that's much bigger than you, and you're going to need to pull on something that's also bigger than you.
And our last topic of the day, which we're gonna keep talking about, is how to make the best decision and manage your time. And the reason why those ones go hand in hand is because time is what we can't get back. Mm-hmm. And once we understand that, everybody feels like they got to make all the money in the world, but money you can make back, time you can't get back. So how do we make the best decisions that fit best into who we are to build a routine in our journey in this thing called life?
We tapped in earlier, for those that don't remember, we talk about majors and minors, right? That's how we bad about time, how we commit our day, what do we make most of our day, what it is that we're committing ourselves to, right? Before you go to bed tonight, ask yourself, did everything that you did today is help contributing to who it is you want to be tomorrow, right? Because you're not just going to get there by not doing nothing. You have to create yourself. Message of the day, life is not about discovering yourself, it's about creating yourself, right? So majors and minors, when we talked about time, doing the most of our time, right? Any given time is free time, really free time for you, or free time for you to create what it is that you want to be, right? As far as doing homework, as far as perfecting your craft, right? As far as facing what it is that you're running from, right? That's what we talk about time, making the most out of our time.
And I think one thing that we need to understand is we've been making decisions our whole life. Literally. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, decisions are being made. When you decide to eat, when you decide to do something that you're not supposed to do, or something that you are supposed to do, those are decisions. So we need to get caught up in understanding that let's make the best decisions for ourselves. It's only going to benefit ourselves and help ourselves grow. But I feel like sometimes in life, people can get caught up in the bad decisions that they made in life. How do we get out of that, where we're holding ourselves accountable for the bad decisions that we made and actually doing things to fix those decisions?
Your circumstances or situations does not define who you are. I'm going to say it again. Your circumstances or situation does not define who you are. They're just that. They're external. There's situations and circumstances that came upon you. If you're able to overcome them, great, so be it. If you can't, don't sit there, don't dwell in it. That's not who you are, right? The darkness that you experience, the heartbreak, right? The difficult time, those are not who you are. That's not who you're designed to be, right? That's not who you're designed. You're more than that. You're more than just a situation, right? You're more than just the circumstances that you're put in, right? You're bigger than that. And you got to start to really, truly, genuinely believe that. And by believing that, it's not just saying it to yourself. That's a wish. That's hope. That's the childish attempt. But if you genuinely believe that, you act accordingly. The necessary steps that you know you need to take to actually start embodying what it is that you believe in, right? So it's not your circumstance or situation that define who you are. Right? You will define your circumstance or situation. Don't let things control you. You control things. It's your world. Literally. It's your world. Right?
And you know, it's so funny as it's like Halloween weekend and I'm seeing everybody, you know, dress up who they want to be. I saw a lot of superheroes. And, you know, when I think about this, it's all about, you always talk about being a superhero in your life. Like, forget about, you know, the other superheroes that we know as characters. Let's become the superheroes that we know to be for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, be that great person. We all can do it. We all can achieve it. It all started with all these great people that we see people talk about or that we talk about. It all started with an idea.
Yeah.
It all started with that mindset. So, you know, once we can believe in ourselves, because I think that's where it starts first, believing in ourselves.
Yeah,
once you can believe in ourselves, once you can believe in yourself, you can do the unthinkable.
Yeah.
And you know, it only makes sense for us to do what's best for us. Why wouldn't you do what's best for you? Never understood that until later in life. And that's what sometimes we learn later on in life.
It's growth, you know, it's growth, right? It's tough to see yourself more than the situation that you're put in. But it's really growth. It's all about tapping in, right? Belief system, right? And I tell people, right, from self-testimonial, from you being able to say, this used to be, I'm no longer that. How I overcame this. Think about all your heartaches that you thought it was the end of the world, right? You're here now, that is possible. And even from other people's testimony, me and my brother Ebon often share stories of what we've been through, right? If I could do it, you could do it. But it wasn't just wishing. It wasn't just hoping. It wasn't just believing and manifesting. It was actually deliberate action that we had to take. So if you're out there and you're listening to this and you feel like the circumstance that you're in is all you, I'm telling you, it's not who. It does not define who you are. There's more in you. Right? You've done it before, you could do it again. If you haven't done it yet, others have done it, so it's possible for you. Right? It might be a bit more difficult. When we talk about looking at others, I don't want you to think that is in the same time frame, is gonna come in the same way they got it. You might need to outsource more resources, but understand it's possible for you, right? It's about possibilities, probabilities, right? And giving the equal opportunities.
And it's all about creating a flow. Once I realized that it's that flow, and once we get into the habit of like doing things constantly that are gonna help us grow, doing things constantly that's gonna help us see the betterment of life. And I feel like, you know, even what we're doing right now is a testimony. Motivation Mondays, 81 weeks straight. That just shows you. I seen, like today, I seen people who tuned in and came out and came right back in. People who are on the YouTube.
You need to tap in whatever it is, right? Use your car as a mobile library. Tap in. If you're doing a good cause, don't worry about who's watching. Some people may be watching, but you may not see them. If it's genuinely for your cause, for what it is that's meaningful to you, so be it. It's not about the end goal. Earlier I said it's not about the finishing line. It's about the steps that you're taking, the little steps. It's about the process. It's not what you get in the end. It's who you become in the process.
And you'll learn a lot through that process more than at the end. Because when you get to the end, you're at the end.
You're at the end, right? And when people achieve the grind and they get to the end, they want more. They want more, right? So that's why people often say, oh, you have all of this. Why are people so wealthy and unhappy, right? Because maybe they're just about achieving goals and not getting the most out of it, right? Don't wish for the challenges of life to go away. That's what makes life, right? That makes the experience all of it. Right? If you wish for the challenges and experience to go away, you wish for your life to go away. Right? You gotta welcome all experiences. That makes up for your resilience, right? For you to build the muscle memory, the physical memory, all of these things, the physical muscle, all of these things to help you to become a better person.
And kudos to you, because I know you've been dealing. Last week you had a couple midterms, so shout out to you too. And I know you have more a couple in this month. But it's like, how do you feel like even thinking about, like, do you remember, let's go back to last week when you had to study and get ready? Not even last week, because I know you have to study before. You can't just study last week. But like, even the midterms that are coming up and the midterms that you took, what was that mindset like, knowing that, okay, I gotta do one midterm and I have more, and all these things on your plate, plus dealing with everything that you got going on.
It's the challenge, it's the joy. That's where the most satisfaction coming from, right? Putting all these challenges and knocking them down and smiling at myself, right? That's why I tell people, find a responsibility, find something to do, find a meaning of life, right? Those things make me feel good about myself. It's not so much to prove it for other people, that knowing that I set things on myself that were difficult, but I've got it done. I'm able to show my capability in what it is possible for me to do. Right, and there's true joy coming in that. Right, I create these stresses for me. Right, I know myself. I create these stresses for me, and I manage it. And that's how I look at things. Whenever things try to break me, I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna make me. This is one of those things I'm gonna pat myself that I'm able to do that. So when I do tap in, I do tap in. Right, it's about the process, and through the process is what I learn. Right, it's not so much about finishing. It's what I learn. It's what I know I'm capable of doing, and that's how I look at any time an obstacle or anything has come in front of me. It's like, this is not going to break me. This is what's going to make me.
And it is. We're going to leave it at that note right there. Ladies and gentlemen, week 81, how to deal with procrastination, what we talked about earlier. We talked about 5 different types of procrastination. So make sure you watch it earlier. We're going to post
It's much needed. We all deal with it. Procrastination. Some of you guys probably procrastinated this morning and said, I'm going to watch Monday Motivation Live. It's so motivating. Go do what it is that you got to do. I always tell you guys, the views, the engagement is great, but if you're out there living your dream is much better, right? You can always come back. You always watch it after. We're on YouTube Live. We're on Spotify. Don't use us as an excuse. Don't use Motivation Monday as an excuse. I was going to go to the gym, but you guys were late, so I tune in. Go to the gym, all right? Go to the gym. This live is going to be up after, all right? It's going to be up after. Don't use us as an excuse, ladies and gentlemen.
And, I want to say thank you. This birthday episode, appreciate you, Max the Speaker. To our people, our family on YouTube Live, thanks. Once again, if you're just joining, make sure you click the link in our bio. If you're on Instagram, you can find all our links there, from TikTok to YouTube, to our questionnaire, to our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all streaming platforms. Thank you. This is week 81. We talked about, once again, how to deal with procrastination, lessons on wealth, how to make the best decision and manage your time. See you guys next week. Peace and love.
Productivity. All right.